Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Excuse me for a moment. I hope everybody's well. Welcome to Xuanzang's Tower. We have another exciting day of deep, powerful learning for you. Upala's here to guide us through her exciting text, Interlude on Emptiness. And Geshe Michael, are you standing by? I'm assuming they're getting set
Yes,
up.
I'm here. Hello, Nicholas.
Hello, sir. How are you?
The question is, what color is your swimming trunks today?
Nobody wants to know. Trust me. I will. I'll leave it to the imagination. But I'll be there soon, so no need for swimming trunks in the Arizona ocean.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we're gonna leave tomorrow morning, maybe. So,
I'm
that's
sure you have all your guitar parts learned very well.
oh, well, working on it.
Not like me.
I bought a new tuner. So
Oh, that's a good sign that you're serious.
exactly. You ready with the homework, Utpala?
Sure. Good morning.
All right.
Good morning. Welcome to Xuanzang's Tower.
Welcome to Shintong's Tower, and welcome to another wonderful quiz on the interlude
Oops.
on emptiness.
Whoa.
So it's kind of a good way to start if you see that the question is much longer than the answers, right? Someone says that the Buddhist metaphor of the master jeweler teaches that the three turnings of the wheel purify, respectively, the gross, subtle, and extremely subtle stains of obstacles to the essence of one gone to bliss. And that's why only the last turning of the wheel is literal. KWJ responds with a twofold criticism. So what did he say in brief?
Refining the student. Rob says each step refines the student or something like
the idea that there wasn't that the third was literal, that each one was bringing student refining them more and more.
So why does KWJ criticize that?
Yeah.
I didn't hear what Rob said, but would someone like to give a shot? Remember, this is KWJ.
I don't know. Everyone here thinks it's not such
Okay.
a bad example for
Oh,
cleaning the bed.
all
For
right then.
cleaning, yeah.
Unless there's something about thinking any of these topics are self-existent in nature.
Well, that would be a problem for sure.
Yeah.
But that's not what KWJ, that's not how he responded. First, he said, what you said is based not on scripture, but on a lack of investigating scripture.
Okay.
Secondly, he said, what you've said contradicts your own assertions. So let's delve into these a little more deeply. So KWJ says this misunderstanding is contrary to scripture. What scripture did he reference, and how is it contradictory?
Is it what I really meant?
Yay!
Oh, okay. What I
That
really
is the scripture. Thank you, Oscar. And how is it contradictory?
Or is this something that this Kachik is saying, that because the Buddha said this is literal, then that must be the literal turning of the wheel?
No, he didn't talk about that. That issue comes up in our last question for
Oh.
this morning. But what he mentioned was that what I really meant explains that the three turnings of the wheel are for different types of students. It's not for one student to go progressively through the three turnings. So KJJ also says it's contradictory to what those who follow the mind only accept. How so? Major hint. It's very much like the answer to the first part of this question.
What would the mind only say about the second turning of the wheel?
About the three turnings of the wheel.
I'm guessing they say they're progressive and they build upon each other.
Yeah, it gets better and better.
No, they accept that there are disciples of different types and that the three turnings of the wheel are taught for the purpose of teaching different types of students. So that's the way in which this kachik is making an assertion that's contrary to what he's asserted elsewhere in this text, if it's the same person. Yeah.
And to clarify, I mean, Upala, that's the one that we seem to be agreeing with, or J seems to agree with.
That there are different types of students?
Yes, right, as opposed to progressive.
Yeah.
That this is the reason for the three turnings. This is our position at this point in the text.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, but he did, the reason this kachik showed up, as you recall, is that KJ said the three turnings of the wheel are how they deal with the topic of selflessness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what defines a teaching being a member of one of the three turnings of the wheel.
Great. Yeah, great. That's great. Very helpful.
So then the opponent says, okay, and here we go, Oscar. Because the sutra, what I really meant, says the final turning of the wheel is literal, it is therefore literal. And they also say, this person, that the perfection of wisdom sutras are of the final turning of the wheel. What absurd consequence does J present as following that belief or that assertion?
And
Then the perfection of wisdom is literal.
yeah, which means the third turning is the second turning.
Yeah. Mhm.
Tina says that the third turning would be the second turning or something like that.
Well, there is this issue that, yeah, the perfection of wisdom sutras are within the second turning of the wheel, not the third. But what's the implication from this person's point of view of the perfection of wisdom, of considering the perfection of wisdom sutras as being of the final turning of the wheel?
They would have
That
to
they
be
are
literal.
They are literal.
That they are literal, right? So then what's the issue? What's the absurd consequence of holding that what I really meant and the perfection of wisdom sutras as both being literal?
They contradict each other.
They contradict each other, right? So if it were true that what I really meant and the perfection of wisdom sutras were all literal, then it would have to be the case that an accurate perception would have no problem accepting two contradictory statements: changing things truly exist and all things lack true existence.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. I suppose there's no English equivalent to rimchen.
Successively or in stages or
Yay, thank you.
Okay.
I suppose there's no
Uh-oh.
Tibetan equivalent to because it's contrary to.
Galway cheer.
Because it's
Nice.
contrary to.
Gelway.
Lock and go wager.
Lot go wager.
Dangelway too.
Dungelway. Yeah, Dungelway.
And the English equivalent to denme.
Lacking in reality. Or
Yeah, empty or lack true existence. Thank you very much. That's the closest I can come to having 3 steps versus 1 that just parachutes you out of the whole
it's a
mess
fun picture.
of cyclic existence.
Venerable Upal, do you have some translation or
I do. I just have to reshare
find it? Right?
document. And I have to find it on my, I think this is it. And I know it's tiny. I'm working on it.
It's medium.
Oops.
We can zoom in from our side too. Like if people don't find it big enough, we can zoom in on it.
Would you like me to read the Tibetan, Geshe Michael?
Yes, please. Young
Young-
Kachik.
Yang kachik do de tsiki simpar ten sitar ki dun de tardu drupa nipe dun tang dele nduk pa drangwe dundu kelangne korlo tama do gongdra la sopa nang nepe dun dang korlo parpa sher chin ki do la sopa nam drang dun yin shing.
Good. So we're getting into some very, very interesting. Did you notice that in words mind only text and in Utpala's middle way text, which is right now talking about the mind only school, they both start to address the issue of
If there's one path or
what
3.
did the Buddha, when did the Buddha say what he meant and when did the Buddha say what he didn't mean? Because the student was weak. Okay. All right. And so he's going to kind of try to define what it means to speak literally and what it means to speak figuratively. Okay. And we're getting into that subject. By the way, after how many years? 4 years of
Gazillion
work.
at least.
We're about to leave the middle way school. We're about to go to we're about to leave the middle school and we're about to enter the middle way school in one of the greatest books ever written about emptiness. So it's kind of a big day, this day or the next class that we have. We will be finishing the first half of the book and that we struggled through the mind only. And the middle way, by the way, is all downhill. Okay, it's what you grew up on. So it'll feel familiar. This is not familiar. Okay. Kachik means what, Udpala?
Some guy. Some person.
Yeah, some guys
claim.
say that sutra is Gambaing Sixin. We call it Sixin. Say it, Sixin.
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 Sixin. What Sixin means?
Teaching, well, words. See, I didn't
it's an ancient term for literal. Take it as the words say. Sin, sick. Sin is the past tense. Zin. Okay. Yeah. So, hold. So it means take it as literal. Take it according to the wording. Okay. So somebody said that what's interesting is they are trying to find a sutra which defines literal and figurative. Okay? They're not trying to find a sutra which is literal, and they're not trying to find a sutra which is figurative. They're trying to find a sutra which gives us a final decision on how do you judge what the Buddha really meant, and how do you judge when he was speaking figuratively, which according to Tsongkhapa is one of the most serious responsibilities of every spiritual person in the world. You personally have to decide when was the teacher telling the truth and when was the teacher being figurative. And no one else can do it. Not even the teacher can do it because they might be speaking figurative. So we're trying to find a sutra that tells us how to distinguish between what the Buddha really meant and what the Buddha didn't really mean. Dense means this tse is the tse in Sema, which means measurement. Okay, so what's the measure of a scripture being literal or figurative? Okay, since dun de dr dun. If you can take it literally, that's the definition of literal. Okay, if you can take it according to the words, if your teacher says something and you can accept it on face value, according to what the words say, that's what we call ngepe dun. Okay, say ngepe dun. So nge dun means literal. Together they're called change, right? Figurative or literal. So that's literal. If you can take the words on face value of the teacher, then that's what we call literal. Dele dopa.
The opposite.
Anytime you see ZL, first of all, it's a D. Z, don't tell me sloppy or something like that. ZL is pronounced nda, prenasal D, nda. And the classical example is ndawa, sengdawa, which means the moon, because it's the partner of the sun. It's the opposite of the sun. So the word for moon means opposite. Okay. And the word for wife or husband is also nda, the other half. Okay. So da means other half. So dok has all these meanings of opposite. Okay. So what's he saying here? You want to get to changdun, which means figurative, then dok the ngedun. Yeah, opposite of what I explained from ngedun. Ngedun was you can take the teacher's words on face value. Therefore, changdun is you cannot take the teacher's words on face value. You have to interpret them. You know, what's the famous example of my teacher in the monastery?
Break all those
Kayu
cups.
chok.
Break those
Say
cups.
kayu chok.
Kayu
Kayu
chok.
chok. My teacher had a student who was very careless, and every time he washed the dishes, he would break 2 or 3. So anytime my teacher was giving a class and he'd hear the student washing the dishes, and he'd hear him start the water, get the soap out, and he'd say, "Hey, kayu chok," which means, "Could you break a few more dishes?" Which means it has to be interpreted. It means don't break the goddamn dishes. Okay, got it? So the opposite of that kind of language is literal. Okay, dokpa is changwe dun. The opposite of literal is to be interpreted. Changwe dun. Kelang, that's what we kelen.
Except.
Kelen. Ka means what? Ka.
Well,
Ka means mouth. K means with your mouth. Len means take it like tonglen. Taking, right? So K len means to agree to something. Take it with your mouth. Okay. K lang is the past tense. Okay. Therefore, if this is how we define literal and figurative, then the korlo tama,
the final turning of the wheel.
the last of the 3. Now, traditionally, we say Lord Buddha had 3 specific periods in his life when he taught much differently. He evolved through the course of his life. And his first teachings are very dry, Abhidharma. We call the accounting teachings. Sounds like we had it in Stanley's class this week. Very dry, just numbers. And then that was the first turning of the wheel. He did not talk about emptiness much. Then in the second turning of the wheel, everything is empty. Heart Sutra, Diamond Cutter Sutra, all the Prajnaparamita Sutras, everything is empty. Nothing is real. Okay. Third turning of the wheel, Yeah, which means maybe I went too far on that. People questioned him. People criticized him that he said everything was empty. And he said, you know what? Maybe some stuff is and maybe some stuff's not. And that's the third turning of the wheel traditionally. Okay. Here, Korlo Tama means the last one. Tama means the last one. Dode Gongdel is what? Utpala?
The sutra called What I Really Meant.
Yeah, the sutra called What I Really Meant. It's confusing because the name of that sutra is Drilpa.
Commentary.
Is coming, and usually commentary means someone explaining what Buddha said. Who's explaining what Buddha said in this case? Yeah, Buddha. By the way, when I told you everything was empty, I didn't really mean it. So that's the third turning of the wheel. Okay, very famous. And the book which defines the third turning of the wheel is a book called Hey, this is what I really meant. Okay, clarification. La Sopa. Nam Ngepe Dun, those are, that last turning of the wheel was the Nge. Nge. That was the real one. Okay, the third turning of the wheel was the right one. The other two were exaggerations or something. Okay, because in the third turning of the wheel, he said, "Oh, I didn't really mean the second turning and the first turning. I mean the third turning." Okay, got it. That's so they agree. That's the mind only school. So yeah, third turning of the wheel was when he said what he really thought. Okay, and Korlo Parba,
the middle turning of the wheel.
Yeah, what's the famous use of this part that you can remember the word by? Pardon. The state in between death and rebirth. Okay, say pardon. Yeah, it's not an English B. It doesn't exist in English. This B sound does not exist in English. It's pardon. Okay, pardon. So parpa means the middle turning of the wheel. Those dos in Chinese, 中文档. Boro Boromido. Boro Boromido. Okay, Prasnya Paramita. Okay, the Paramita Sutra. Okay, those sutras were Changden. Heart Sutra, Diamond Cutter Sutra, Prajnaparamita Sutras. They were all
figured.
Yeah, I didn't mean it. I said everything was empty. I was just exaggerating to wake up the goddamn students. Okay. I thought they'd go, and I'd say, okay, now you're awake. I can tell you the truth, which is that not everything's because changing things are real. Changing things are real. Things that perform a function are real. If you burn your hand on something, it's real. Okay. All right. Now let's look at the translation. A sutra's meaning is exactly as it's taught, word by word, is of literal meaning, good. And the opposite of that is accepted as being, a figurative meaning, good. And the sutras of the final turning of the wheel, such as what I really meant, are literal meaning, good. And the sutras of the middle turning of the wheel, such as the perfection, are figurative meaning. Perfect. Okay, let's go to the next paragraph.
So Geshe, I just want to say that I'm sort of over time on my part of the class. So if we want to go to you in the text, or do you want to continue?
No, we're okay. We got to go here anyway. We might as well do it.
Okay.
But thank you for being considerate of the other students. Okay. Who's gonna read 406, Venerable Upala? And you can correct them, okay?
Venerable Xuanzang.
Okay, do you want to come here and sit and quick, wait, don't spill that glass.
It's empty.
Okay, please read. Venerable Upala, you are correcting. I am relaxing.
Dewa shek pei ning poi do dang, yeshe nang wa gengi do dang, nyao wo che chen po do dang, sword moi, right? poi
And boy.
do dang. Oi, oi.
Oi, oi, gabon.
Sol moi chengwa la pen pe do dang pak pat sung ki dang chuk yel poi ho.
Wang Chuk
Good.
Gelpe.
One chuk. Oh yeah. One chuk yel po zupe do dang. Pelwa dang. Dripa me pa ten pe do dang. Nyan yen le de pa chen poi do la sok pa dak ni kolo ta me do nye pa don dun do tu se do
Dento.
dun do se ma che
Mawar.
ma what ma we do.
Shento. Okay,
Shento.
good. And sutras such as the essence of those who have gone that way, those have been but okay. And the shining jewel of wisdom sutra. Yes, you know it. Okay, good. Striking the great jump sutra. Okay, good. A teaching to help Angulimala, string of figures. What's the story of this guy?
He
His evil
killed
teacher
people and
told him-
collected fingers.
His evil teacher told him, if you can collect 1,000 fingers of human beings and put them on a string around your neck, you will achieve nirvana. And he collected 999. He collected 999. Then the last guy he chose was Lord Buddha. And he started chasing Lord Buddha. And that's a long story. That's got to be my tree. Okay. The Exalted Sutra on Dharani. By the way, this is all one word, okay? Utpala. Papa here just means, yeah, it's probably just means Exalted Sutra. And then Sungi Wangchuk means the Lord of all Dharanis. And then apparently that's the name of a king. Okay, the king of mantras or something like that is the name of a king. Lord of mantra is the name of this king. Apparently, we'll have to go look at it. Shubha means he requested the sutra. Did you?
I tried to find all of them, and this one I could not.
Yeah, it's there. There's a little tricky. Yeah, we'll use the database. The teaching that ever expands and never diminishes. It's probably no increase and no decrease. Probably the may distributes to both. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It means the Dharma never gets more than Dharma never gets less or something like that. Okay. So then the Sutra of the Great Nirvana, which is a very amazing, important sutra, etc. You're my teacher would say, oh, so the rest are not amazing and important. Korla Tamedo. So all of these sutras, which, by the way, the sutras of the third turning of the wheel are not famous. The main sutra is what I really meant. And most people cannot name another one. And so, this author is saying, look, there's not just one sutra in the third turning of the wheel, there's lots. And he gives examples, okay? These are all ngeden. These were spoken literally. He said what he meant, and he meant what he said. Okay, all right, good. Let's do 407. Who's going to read 407, Venerable Pala?
Ben, but just because I can see you. And because you read well. Thank you.
That's what you think. Let's see. Dini nampar matak pa yinte do chiman di daki tempadang do gongdragi tembe tsunamba tamche du mi tsungwe chiro.
Sungbe.
Yeah, Mitsungbe.
See?
This translation is great. I would just question Bratox, okay? And by the way, they just everyone misspells it. Tsongkhapa misspells it. So it means different things. Without the R, it means to impute or to give a name to something, right? Which is what your mind does to objects. In that case, it's label, to label something. But when you put an R in it, Britax, when you add an R here, it changes the meaning to examine, okay, to examine something. And as a criticism, it means you haven't really thought this out very carefully, have you? Okay, it's a criticism here, okay? This idea of you is not well thought out. Nambar means well, right? So you haven't thought this out very well. And then the guy says, why you say that? And we say, well, these latter sutras, meaning the whole list of sutras he just gave, what they teach, okay, what that list of sutras teaches, and what the sutra called what I really meant teaches are completely different from each other. Okay, so don't put them together. Don't say they're all the third turning of the wheel. Some of them must be and some of them must not be, because they certainly don't say the same thing. They don't give the same teaching. Okay, only what I really meant. The sutra clearly says, I didn't mean what I said in those radical emptiness sutras, Heart Sutra, Diamond Cutter Sutra. I wasn't literal. Don't overestimate it. Okay. Okay. And those other sutras that he listed, that was the other guy. And they don't have the same message at all. They don't have, in fact, it might be difficult to find another sutra other than what I really meant, which can be the third turning of the wheel. Okay, got it? Which means the third turning of the wheel took like 20 minutes or so. Okay, never mind. Let's go to Grandpa's screen. Okay. That, by the way, you did a good job and you spent a lot of time on it. And I know you had a bad cold or something, because I was there when it attacked you. And thank you for taking care of Venerable Jingmei. She got this bad cold at the hospital, sitting there for 6 hours or something, and driving both ways and stuff like that. So I'm very grateful for that.
Well, thank you for
then we
changing plans.
criticized him and said, look, the sutras you listed and the sutra where the Buddha says what I really meant, they are not at all similar. Okay. Then the guy comes back with, who's going to read, Utpala?
Let me find my people. Berta, are you translating or can you read? She's translating.
She's translating.
Okay. I would like Catherine. Jan, are you translating or can you read, please?
Yes, I can read.
Thank you.
Chiktak Mingsu Shena Ndo Gondrel Le Nikun Tu Drangpa Daktar Tuki Tekbar Su Tu Shela Chima Di Madikta Ki
Ditaki.
Nitar Tuki Tekbar Chi Tu Shebe Chede.
Lovely, thank you.
Nice, very, very nice reading. Excellent reading. Very good. Chigar Mitsung, we said to the guy, look, those sutras you listed are in no way the same, equal to the sutra where Buddha said, hey, here's what I really meant. They're not equal at all. And the guy says, well, how are they not equal? Okay, Jita means how are they not equal? Okay, and we answer, okay, Dode Gongdo, which means what I really meant. I
meant.
prefer the translation what I really meant. Pongdu Changbatar, as we have read it above, we already covered this point to some extent. It teaches Shepa, Tartuk Tekpasum. Very, very famous. Say Tartuk Tekpasum. Tartuk Tekpasum. Tartuk Tekpasum. Okay, what's that mean, Utpala?
There are three paths. In the end, there are three paths.
Yeah, in the end, there's three different paths to enlightenment. In the end, there are three different paths to spiritual fulfillment. In the end, there are three tracks, and never the twain shall meet. It means they don't cross. They are three independent paths to enlightenment. Okay, that's the position of that's the position of what I really meant. What I really meant says there are three discrete paths to enlightenment. Okay, and these chima means those later sutras you pulled out. You pulled out like 7, 8 sutras. You said they belong to the third turning of the wheel, but they don't cover the same subject matter as what I really meant. Why? He says, well, what's different? And we said, well, what I really meant outlines three paths to enlightenment. Now, what's the second half of this sentence going to say? We call it anticipatory translation. Yeah, it's going to say, that's as a translator, sometimes you just pause in the middle of a paragraph and you say, what's he supposed to say next? And then it's a lot easier to translate it, okay? So, Lancelot, what I really meant outlines three different paths to enlightenment. And those other sutras you mentioned, they only outline one. Let's see if that's what it says. Tartuk Tekpachik. Hey. So listen, you don't have to sweat so hard. You don't have to figure out every word. Think about what you're translating and think about what should be coming next. And you just save a lot of time. Okay. Sometimes you're wrong, by the way. So make sure the words fit what you thought. Okay. Now, so what's the latter? What's the idea in all those sutras, which is not the same as what I really meant? They say Tatuk Tekpachik. In the end, all spiritual paths go to the same place. Christian, Buddhist, Jewish, Hindu, Muslim, communist, they all go to the same place. They all meet in the same end. They all end in the same place. Okay. And it's a very passionate subject in the Prajnaparamita. And Asanga talks about it a lot. You can spend 6 months on that. The proof that all spiritual paths lead to the same place. Okay. It's a very beautiful concept in Buddhism. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Who's going to read next, Upala?
Venerable Cotting, could you please read?
Certainly. Chekpa Pel Cheng.
Pel.
Oh, Hak?
Pak.
Oh, Pak. Oh, Pakpa, of course. Pakpa Pel Preng Ji Dule Nien Tu Drak Chum Pa Marik Pak Shaki Tang Sak Pa Me Pe Le Ki Kien Gi Yi Ki Rang Shin Gi Lu Len Par Shela De Yang Lak Che Ki Lak Che Ki Kabla Jar Mi Rungte Ja Chom Lak Che Ki Luni Ke Ba Pa Ke Wa Ngame Le Nyon Gi Chak Pe Duk Pang Pe Duk Nyel Gi Pung Po Yin Pe Chiro.
Lovely, thank you.
Nice. Very, very good. Very good. And thank you for all the help at Diamond Mountain this week. It was very pleasant to be there and You guys work very hard and the place looks beautiful. The place is the best it's ever been. So there's a debate in Buddhism, and there's a misconception about Buddhism that Buddhism says when you reach nirvana, you disappear. And somehow that would be wonderful. And there was a band called Nirvana, and the leader of the band disappeared himself. He committed suicide. And there is this idea that Buddhism says that when you reach your final enlightenment, you just disappear. Okay, and so there's a lot of argument about that. Okay, that kind of disappear is called Tlakme. Say Tlakme. Tlakme means nothing left over. Just your pants are probably sitting there on the cushion and the person's gone. Okay, probably your underwear's still there. And okay, that's called Tlakme, nirvana with nothing left. And then before you reach that final nirvana, there's Tlakche. Say Tlakche. Tlakche means there's still something left over. Like you have some kind of physical and mental components are still there. Okay. So that in the lowest schools of Buddhism, Abhidharma schools, there's divided two kinds of nirvana, Tlakche and Tlakme. Okay. This higher schools have a very intriguing take on that, but we don't have time to do that today, or we'll never finish this book. So Papa Belchengito, he's taking a sutras named Belcheng, glorious mala or glorious string. We don't know what it's probably a person's name.
I think I've heard of the glorious
that's
garland.
yeah, that sutra says let's consider Drachomba. What's the Drachomba? Arhat, enemy destroyer, okay, of the Nyentu, meaning lower track, okay, lower track. Basically, not bodhisattva track, okay. They reach nirvana, but they aren't reaching nirvana for the sake of others. They are reaching nirvana for personal purposes, personal reasons, okay. They're called listener, but the idea is they're selfish. They still have some kind of selfish. They want to get to freedom themselves. They're not worried about other people. Okay. They're called listeners. Niente Drachamba. Marikbe Bachaki. By the way, enemy destroyer, the enemy you destroy is generally explained as the final seeds of impurity. Okay, the final seeds of impurity. And here it says, here the claim is that those particular guys are arhats, which means a person who has reached nirvana, okay, but not necessarily Buddhahood. Okay, so there's a big difference. Nirvana could be lower than Buddhahood. It could be equal to Buddhahood, depends on what your motivation is. If you have a high motivation, then nirvana equals Buddhahood. If you have a lower motivation, nirvana comes first, and then you improve your motivation and you reach Buddhahood. Okay, so these are guys who need to improve their motivation. Nyentu Jachomba, they still have some kind of bakchaks,
Some kind of seeds.
deep mental for marikpa, misunderstanding the world. Okay, and this sentence is really difficult, Utpala, because you have to go from ki to ki. Okay, here's KYIS and here's GYIS, and they are meant to be parallel. And it's a very difficult sentence because of that. Okay, they do something because of this and because of this. That's all. They do something for two things are creating a result here. Two powers are creating a result. So he says, by that and by that. And you have to understand it's a sentence where there's two parallel phrases. They get in trouble because of this seed, and they get in trouble because of this. So there's two because ofs. Okay. That's
Is
why
it
there's
common that
here.
they would that they would repeat that particle?
No,
Instead of just
it's
having
not
one
common.
that distributes? Okay.
Yeah, it's not common. And as a translator, you have to think, why did he separate them? Why did he said You want to say he's overweight because he doesn't exercise and he eats a lot of bread, which is my case. And you would just have one because, you see what I mean? He's overweight because he eats too much bread and he doesn't exercise. But in this case, he said he's overweight because he eats too much bread and pause because he doesn't get enough exercise. And there is a reason why he said because twice. And you have to figure it out. As a translator, you have to ask the question. Okay, so
Geshe
there's two
Michael,
becauses here.
That weird and the tongue after the key, is that our big clue?
Yeah.
That's a pretty funky formation otherwise, right?
Yeah, it is a clue. It is a clue. So two things are creating a result here. Key this and key this. Okay. What's the first thing? Marik Be Bakchak. He still has deep seeds for misunderstanding the world. Okay. Which is generally touchy for an art. He's not supposed to really. But that's a delicate question. Okay. And he still has lei.
Karma.
He still has karma. And it's a very strange kind of karma called sakme.
Unstained karma.
We call unstained, stainless karma. It's karma, but somehow it wasn't collected by misunderstanding the world, which is very unusual. Okay. So he has some kind of special karma. You can say clean karma. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great question, and generally you cannot. So it must be some super subtle thing. And that has a special expression to it. And it's a weird kind of deep seed, super deep seed.
What was the
Super deep
question, Geshe?
shadows. How can he be an arhat and still have seeds for ignorance or misunderstanding? And the answer is I would call it a shadow seed or something like that. There's kind of a phantom seed that is described in some scriptures. Okay. So anyway, he's got these two kinds. Therefore, he is going to lemba, a new body.
Take on.
He's going to take a new body. He's going to go through a rebirth. Okay. But that particular body is made of yi.
Mind.
Yeah, it's a mental. Okay. This is kind of a answer to the ancient question to the lower schools. They say when you reach nirvana, you disappear. And we say, who? So the guy who reached nirvana is called an enemy destroyer. So they say enemy destroyers, when they reach nirvana, they lose their body and mind. They no longer have a suffering body and mind. So we say, well, where are they? And they're like, I don't know. They do disappear. And there's nothing there. Okay. But somebody achieved nirvana. Got it? So that's if anyone ever tells you, Buddhism says that when you reach nirvana, you disappear. The classic answer of the three higher schools is who? And then that's traditionally enough to stop the whole first school. And the first school took 700 years to figure out their school. So it's not a small thing. But one question can blow them up. Where's this guy? Where's the arhat? They're like, I don't know. Does he have a body? No. Does he have mind? No. Okay. Now, some people might say he had this special immaculate karma, sakme, vimala karma, and he took on a kind of a mental body. Okay, it's not physical, because if it were physical, it would still be suffering. It would still have to pee and poo and get heart operations and stuff like that. So he has a mental body. Yikirang Shinkilu, Lemba Shipa. Those books describe, that sutra describes how an arhat takes on a sort of miracle body or something. He still has a body, but it's not physical. formless. Not, don't ask me. Okay. Then we say la, but deyang sakche kikap. Sakche means when you still have something left over. Okay, so in the lower school, they would describe a nirvana where you still have something left over. You still have a physical body that was projected by your old bad karma, but you're not making any new bad karma. When that body dies, you're free. Okay, so that's called body created by dirty good karma. And then in theory, you'd have a body created by pure karma. Like you go to heaven and you still have a body. You have a different body there, like an angel's body or something like that. Okay. You couldn't say that when someone still has a dirty body, they have this new mental body. Okay. Why? The body that an arhat has that's left over from their old bad karma. Okay. The body that hasn't, the old karma hasn't worn out yet. They are no longer misunderstanding the world. They are no longer creating karma. But they still stuck with this body that was projected by their old bad karma. And it will wear out. That projection will wear out. That body will disappear. They'll enter a new body, angel's body, heaven body, something like that. Okay. Luki kewangame leki. Lenyungi. Kewangame lenyin. Kewangama means your previous lives. Le and yomo. Yeah, karma and negative emotions, which is enough to project a new dirty body, a new impure body. Okay. Hangbe, dungyagi pumbo. Suffering body. Okay. So he says, yeah, you can say he goes out of his physical body and he enters some kind of mental body. But if that mental body is produced by the same karma and negative emotions that the old physical body was created by, he hasn't reached nirvana. It's still being projected by dirty things, by his bad attitude and his bad actions to other people in the past. Okay. So this is not how they treat arhats is different in the different turnings of the wheel. Okay, let's keep going. Who's going to read this next little piece here?
I would like
Little piece. I got lots of victims
Emily
here.
Tom, can you please read?
Okay.
You can do it, Emily.
Just not comfortable right now.
Okay. Inna Shvetsova, would you like to read?
Oh, Inna's here. Our Inna? No, the other Inna. Okay. Inna gotta be.
Well, the other Inna is not responding. So would the Inna in the room please like to read?
You do the cursor, okay? Go slow so she can correct you. You do the cursor.
Evenach lakme ki nyande ngundu chepe trachom palacha gula lakme tope trachom lulenpa ni tartuk tekpa sum ki tsula shintu gelwe chiro.
Yay!
Lovely.
Nice.
Thank you.
She's working on her reading with the overseas study group. Rebecca's group. Okay. Dewena, therefore, thought making young day, when you reach nirvana with nothing
No.
thought me. By the way, in the highest schools, this idea of something left over or nothing left over is reversed. And first you reach nirvana with nothing left over, and then you reach nirvana with something left over. And they describe it as the direct perception of emptiness. Okay. When you see emptiness directly for the first time, for example, you go into a body which has no remainder. And then when you come out of that perception of emptiness, you go back into a suffering existence. So you achieve immaculate first and unimmaculate second in the higher schools. It's very interesting. It's intriguing. In the lower schools, it's kind of like, oh yeah, you have this dirty body, dirty body, dirty body. You get better and better. And then finally the dirty body dies and you don't have a new dirty body. Then you get into immaculate body, like an angel's body, okay? It's an interesting difference, okay? So here it says, Hagme Nyangde, the nirvana when you still have something
Left over.
left over. Where have you seen hak before? The word hak.
Tong, Vipassana.
Yeah, it just means special or ultra. It's a, okay. Hagme Nyangde, when you achieve nirvana with nothing left over, Mundu Chepa is a tricky verb because it means to actualize. And they don't like to use the word achieve. They try to use a different verb for bring into being. Okay? Why? It would be weird to say, I worked and worked and worked and got to nothing. You see what I mean? I achieved what I worked and worked and worked spiritually. Yeah? What happened? I achieved. What'd you achieve? Nothing. You know, so they use a different verb. Technically, they use a different verb, and it means you manifested it. You manifested the absence of a dirty body. Got it? Okay, which is a clean body. That's the kind of arhat you need here. But when you say an arhat, nirvana-sizer, okay, who has achieved nirvana with nothing left over, no dirty things left, no dirty mind, no dirty body left over, okay? When you posit that there is a person who can be a arhat, who achieves a place where there's nothing left over, that severely contradicts the idea of three paths. Tatuk tekpasum. Say tatuk.
Tartuk,
Tekpasum.
tekpasum.
In the end, there's three separate roads to enlightenment. And now we're tatuk tekpachikers. What's that?
It is only
Yeah, which is sweet. I mean, it's very attractive. You know, in the end, all spiritual paths on this planet go to the same place. Okay. To me, it's very attractive. Okay. But he says, if you're one of those guys who says there's three separate paths to nirvana, then I don't see how you can talk about an arhat who reaches a place where they don't have anything left. Because that would be the same result achieved by other levels of people. And then ultimately speaking, there would be only one path. See what I mean? If you're saying there's such an arhat like that, then what you're really saying is all paths end in the same place. And you can't go around saying there's three. Okay? So the question of what happens to you at the end impacts on this question of how many paths there are to enlightenment. If you reach the same enlightenment, if these Hinayana guys reach the very same arhatship, without compassion, without caring about other people, if they reach the same kind of disappeared body thing, then there's only one path, and those books are wrong. Then the third turning of the wheel is wrong, because it says there's three. If the result of practicing a lower path is the same kind of disappeared person that you get to with the other paths, then the last turning of the wheel was mistaken. Okay, got it? So his argument about what happens to arhats at the end, and his argument about was the third turning of the wheel the real one, the true one, or was the second one the true one? It's all the same. And it all came about through that original discussion of the guy cleaning the
Jewels.
gemstone. Gemstone. So we had a long metaphor from scripture about a guy who was found a rough gemstone and with three different kinds of processes made it into a finished gemstone, which means nirvana with no remainder. Okay, cool. The whole thing ties together sooner or later. It's all one talk. I think so. Who's next?
We're at time.
We got
We're at
Geshe.
time, Geshe Michael.
Hey,
We
by
didn't
tradition, we go by tradition. Yeah, we haven't finished the minority section. By tradition, Venerable Utpala will lead a discussion in which we try to. What's the date today?
the 21st of
Uh,
September.
We're going to talk about. Venerable Utpala is going to lead a discussion where we're going to talk about how can you use today's reading in your real life. But I request 1 minute of time before that. And I got this thing. I got this cool. Look at this. How cool is that? This represents Rob Haggerty has been my student for 27 years or something. And in the last year, he has foolishly accepted the job to schedule my life and schedule my calendar. And you have the calendar? It's an extremely hopeless task. And I like to show it off. There's the calendar for July. Okay. And it's like that. It's impossible. The work I have to do is literally impossible. And so Rob, what we try to do is we try to schedule things. It's called a schedule. And we are currently scheduling next year, 2025. Okay. And it will be finished shortly. Okay. So if you have something to ask me to do, talk now or forever shut up. Okay. And there's Rob's picture. I forgot it. I misspelled his name. E-R-T-Y. Sorry, Haggerty. And he's writing the schedule for next year, for 2025. Okay. If you want to request some kind of teachings, programs, personal meetings, long personal meetings, things like that, I'm afraid you have to do it now. Okay. For next year. And because people like DCI, they work a year ahead. They need to know the dates now, and the university needs to know the dates now. And so those dates will be fixed in stone in the next few days. So there's Haggerty's email. If you want to request something that takes more than 2 minutes, ask him. And I said it 1,000 times. My life is down to the minute. I judge everything by the minute, you know, and you don't believe me and you don't hear it. And I keep saying it and nobody hears it, but I must arrange my time. I must carefully manage my time to the 10 minutes or something like that. If I lose 10 minutes unexpectedly, it hurts somebody else. It will hurt somebody else the next day or 2 days later or 3 days later. So if something unexpected happens, or you say, you know what, I have a program, can you come, you know, then someone else will get hurt, definitely. Okay, so just please, 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 today is the day. There's his name spelled wrong. There's his email address. If you want time, if you have something in mind, I love programs. That's why we have a problem. So just ask him and write him. Now, this other lady, she is not my scheduler. Okay. She's my wife. And so if you got if you have something you want to schedule, talk to the guy in the tuxedo. Okay, because if you talk to the lady and she says, yeah, I don't see why Mike can't meet you next week for an hour, and then someone's gonna get hurt. Someone's gonna lose an hour. Okay, so talk to Rob. He's my scheduler. Now, my wife, she has 4 full-time jobs. She runs their B&B business. She runs the Peachtree Cafe quietly. She has a 30-year-old massage therapist business, and she has an extended family of about 30 children. Okay, not her own kids, some of them, but she has to take care of about 25, 30 children. She has 4 full-time jobs, and please respect her time. Okay, she's working like insane hours. She works harder than me, and she doesn't get enough sleep, and she can't take care of herself because people are calling her, talking for an hour, stuff like that. She can't do it. She's gonna collapse. Okay, so she's more busy than I am. It doesn't mean she doesn't love to talk. She loves to help people. That's the problem. And if I was you, I would call her too. And in fact, I do. That's why I married her. I'm here. She says there's fine child. So just what I'm trying to say is be considerate. You are all Buddhists, okay? So be considerate. Think about how much she works. Think about how hard she works. And she loves to talk to people. She loves to bring special messages to me from people. And that's all fine. That's wonderful. And she's extremely compassionate. And if I was you, I'd want to talk to her also. But at the same time, be careful of her time, and don't take too much time that for yourself, and then there won't be time for other people. Okay, so be considerate. Okay, good. All right, that's my message for today. And over to you. Bye bye.
Oh, before you go, Geshe Michael,
unpin.
Is there
Yeah.
some translation homework you'd like me to do for October?
Oh yeah, hang on. Let's go back to the
Like
text.
finish this part of the book? No,
Yeah, exactly.
Really? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, so 411, 412, 413, 414, 415. And then we have reached our kindergarten. Okay. So
Thank you
if
so
you do
much.
your work well, in the next class, we can graduate to the second half of the book. Okay. And that's a big, big deal. And thank you for surviving till the second half. Okay. Okay, I'm getting out of here. You start
Thank
your
you.
conversation. I'm sorry. You're welcome. If you want to go over a little bit, I'm sure Nick will allow it. Okay.
Sure. As long as Hasso will allow it.
Okay. So remember, we talked about what can be considered literal. Now, how is it that what's the test for whether something is literal or figurative?
Was that a question you're asking us?
Well, I'm just reminding you of what we talked about. And then this business about what the Glorious Garland Sutra talks about in terms of someone who reaches nirvana with or without a body that has seeds, So how can we apply this to our lives? Speaking as one who has a body filled with the explosion of negative seeds lately, I'm looking forward to that day. Anyone have any thoughts about these topics?
I was just thinking, Paula, about all these people who think they have the right idea, and then we're so lucky to be exposed to the right idea, but I don't know where my thinking is. There's this famous story of Jetson Kappa asking his teacher, well, asking Manjushri if he was leaning more in his thinking towards upper middle way or lower middle way, and Manjushri said, you know, something like neither, you dummy. Um, and so it's nice, it's reassuring to know that we're likely all headed in the same direction. But I also hear it as a warning for myself to not be so sure of where my thinking is, and to listen, just listen so carefully. We're especially lucky to be surrounded by smart people and to have a community of intelligent people learning, and to pay attention to the people in the community, pay attention to the people around us, pay attention to people in the world, to listen. There's more to learn. Geshe Michael, I remember him saying once, you don't need to tell us about your understanding of Nagarjuna. We can tell by how many times you got angry today. We already know how well you understand Nagarjuna because we saw you yelling at that person over there. So this is a good judge of whether I should be telling everybody how smart I am in my understanding of emptiness, or whether I should be paying attention to the brilliant ideas around me. I don't know where I'm at. And all these paths around, right? Maybe we're all headed towards the same place. I hope so. And I can pick up clues from people that I meet anywhere in my life, hopefully to push me to a higher place.
Ben, I thank you for that. And I just want to say that, I don't know, having you in my life and in this group of people, and the way you speak at these times when we talk about how to use the teachings in our life, you pretty much always bring it to love. And I mean, not only do I agree with you, but it's just so refreshing.
I love you, friend. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh. And it's always really hard to follow you, right? Because because I think like that's the thing. Love is the thing.
Dr. Martin
General
Luther King Jr.
Upala,
Yes.
General
Yes.
Upala,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
one text I just received. Rob Russinger is leaving the hospital for home today.
Wonderful.
I did want to end today and ask everyone to please make a special dedication of our work on this text of trying to understand the nature of reality, the power of those seeds, and just give them all to Rob, that he may quickly recover. He served us during 3-year retreat, and the man is quite extraordinary.
Yes.
I want to share, I did help with the innovation retreat for like 5-7 days now. And I don't know how everybody can do this for 3 years. That's incredible, impossible, and absolutely out of this world. So thank you for everybody who protects people for this long. I hope he protects them.
Thank you, Chloe. I see someone has their hand raised, but I don't know how to read Chinese. So if you just want to speak, if that's why you have your hand raised, that would be fine.
Thank you，乌巴拉老师。我想问一个问题，就是老师说每隔500年出一位正者，那为什么佛陀时代就是出现了好多的这个学生直见空性了？那是否
Would
每
our
隔500
wonderful Chinese
一位
translator
正者
join
是
the
空
regular
性的？
channel to
谢
help?
谢你。
All right, who's going to translate for us?
Catherine, can you tell us what he is speaking?
老师说，
Oh, great.
谢谢。谢谢老师。那
谢谢
个老师说，每隔500年会出一名正者嘛？那为什么佛陀时代，他的学生里面出现了很多的正者，这样逻辑上面是冲突的。我想问一下这个问题。那如果每隔500年的话，是否这500年以内只有一位正者？那其他的我们这些人是不是都没有可能呢？有一天我听到一个同学说，他问格西老师，他今生可以圆满了吗？老师说可以。那如果按照这种他可以的话，那每隔500年出一位正者又说不通了，又是矛盾的了。谢谢老师。
Yes, I can translate that. His question is, there is a saying that there will be one Arya every 500 years, but actually in the times of the Buddha, there is only one. So it makes us think that it is impossible for us to be an Arya because it takes 500 years to like have one. But I remember that someone asked Geshe that question that can we see emptiness directly, or can we become an Arya in this time? And then Geshe said, yes, we can. So it seems like it sounds like complicated, or yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, that does seem contradictory. And I think it sort of highlights what we've been talking about in this particular piece of the book, which is what is literal and what is figurative. And as Geshe Michael told us in this class today, that Jason Kappa says only each of us as an individual can make that determination of what is literal and what is figurative. And then I always like to think about Arya Nagarjuna, who says, in emptiness, all things are possible.
I think you can do it.
I can hear.
Yeah, we're all in agreement. You can do it.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to respond to it's mute.
We are dangerously encroaching on the time of the Peachtree World News. So I would love to hear what you have to say, but I think we have to go now to the Peachtree World News.
Let's hear Tina, and then we'll move to the next. Go ahead, Tina. It's okay. and then we'll move to the.
Okay, thank you. I just want to quickly respond to the question asker because I experienced the same doubt during my journey. So I just want to change the question because now you are in doubt. You will say, I remember my experience. I will say, wow, so many people, only 500 years, only one. Definitely not me. But when I change, why not me? You can change from not me and then to yeah, possible. There is always a positive possibility. It's me. Why? I can be the one. So it it's dramatically changed my attitude and my journey. So I just want to offer this to the question asker, to the gentleman. Thank you so much. 对，我想给刚才世强老师让我用中文来讲一下，就是我其实曾经经历过跟你一样的一个困惑，在我的一个精神修行上，那就想说哇，500年才出一位人，而且老师身边有 JB 啊、Connie 啊这么多人，哇，什么时候轮到我呀？不可能是我呀，所以的话你就觉得说哇，那还学的意义是什么？那这个都不是我，但是那后来的话，我转变了一个态度，你就想。可能是我呀，为什么不是我？非常有可能是我。So you have the chance， 你有很大的机会，谢谢。
Can I say, I think there are 230 people in this call, and I don't know how many people are in the room there. Something like 300, then people will say altogether. And I have this sense that if you understand emptiness correctly, that you will come to see how there will be only one Arya in 500 years, and each of the 300 people in this call will be the one Arya in 500 years in their world.
If you don't have chills on your spine like me, I don't know. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everyone, for your attention and your practice and your hearts. And Juan, we left you with only 8 minutes. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. No problem. I hope, because today we have a few people that are actually presenting very cool upcoming projects. I hope Nick let us go a little further. On my side, I just want to say that very cool things are coming up very, very soon. Just to mention a few that we will be talking more in the next few days. In Argentina, there is about to be some very cool events regards the Latin America tour in the next few weeks. DSEU is having big events in Sedona very, very soon. Actually, today, we have a dear friend Edmond with us. After a few other announcements, he will be showing what's coming up. And of course, we have the upcoming events in Diamond Mountain. Just to remind you, if you want to register for the pre-retreat, we have the QR code. You may still have time to sign up for it, which is like a preparation week where you're going to get familiar with some of the practices that then Geshe Michael is going to be teaching on the 12th. Yes. And the 11th to the 11th to the 20th. Yeah. Also, just as a reminder that then that's October, but in November, Hatha Yoga Pradipika is going to be happening in Sedona College. Here in Guadalajara, I hear a few people are thinking to go. I think it's going to be a big room of people live there. It seems that way. So if you have wanted ever to take these classes live, I think you still have a chance to do it. Just figure it out if it's possible, but I think a lot of people are planning to go live. It may be very exciting. And remind you as well that in December, Geshe Michael is going to teach in Kyoto, in Japan. December 1st to the 7th is going to be teaching these steps on the path. Sometimes it says that it's some of the last classes on this particular section of the book, and then new content is going to happen, but seems that it's going to be very, very special. Also, just to remind you, there is another event happening in October with David and Serrani. This is happening in Spain, just as a reminding. And then I hear recently that they are organizing another event in Mexico, actually. This is going to be happening in January. This is a special retreat. It's planned for 15 people, and I hear it's almost sold out. There is still like 4 spots available. But if you're interested, it may be very, very cool. At least you know it's happening. Follow the QR code, or you can talk as well with Roxana. She lives in Hermosillo in Mexico, and she's helping to produce this event as well. So just letting you know what's happening. We're going to be coming back with more news very soon, another interviews but for today, we want to welcome Edmond, which is going to tell us about DSU, this upcoming program, and some open classes where many people can join. Cool Table help me to spotlight Edmond. Hey, hello, Edmond.
Hey, hi. Yeah,
How
actually,
I'm in. You.
Yeah, we just arrived in Sedona on Monday.
Wonderful. I will be arriving tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yes.
Yeah, we arrived on Monday. Yeah, and now we start the preparation for our coming event, which will be on September 26th. So all the people here in Sedona are invited to the class. We will have a opening ceremony, and then followed by open classes, including there's a 2-day event. The first day will be on September 26th on 3:30 in Sedona time, and the second day will be at 4:30. And then in both 2 days, we will have a ceremony and also the open class, open EMBA and MBA classes. And then for the first, the topic we will have 2 open classes on each day. The first day we will talking about the emotion intelligence. This is one of the topic, and the other one will be entrepreneurship and innovation. This is the 2 topics we Geshe Michael going to share with us. Of course, we will have some special announcement for the. Actually, we will have a new program, which is we will announce it during the event as well. So all the people in Sedona here are welcome to join. And then if people for people who are not in Sedona, all people are welcome to join in Zoom online. Actually, you can see in this poster, the first link is our registration for the Zoom. You can scan the QR code and then register for the event for the 2 days. And then for the rest of the QR code is we have a WeChat group if you are using WeChat, and if you don't use WeChat, we also have a Telegram group. In the 2 groups, we will share the latest news about the event and all other stuff about latest news for DSUs. Yeah.
Hey, so you say, Edmond, for people who are in Arizona or in Sedona, it's okay to go live to attend the class as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
cool.
And we will also have a gala dinner at the golf club too at the 26th.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It sounds
Actually,
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited that I'm gonna be there. So it sounds exciting.
Yeah.
See you soon there.
See you soon. See you.
Yeah. See you soon there. So there you go. On my side, I can say the classes that I have had the chance to attend for DSU, amazing. A lot of innovation, very creative, very practical, very deep. I strongly recommend anyone, if you have a chance, try to get a taste of what these amazing classes are. So thank you, Edmond. Thank you, Xiaoping. Thank you, Geshe, for inviting us, and happy to be there in the program soon.
Okay, okay. See you soon.
Okay, thank you, Edmond. And also today we have Ina with us on studio. She was telling me about a new initiative she and Captain Bill having cooking in their minds lately. And I would like to hear from you, Ina, what's happening? You reached out a few days ago and I thought it's very interesting, but I would like to hear more about it. Whenever you want, we have the poster, so just ask for it.
Okay. Hi guys, and I will try to be really quick. So you know that Geshe Michael introduced these teachings in a very authentic and modern form, right? So, and being a medical doctor, I was asking, why doesn't he teach how to be healthy, right? And then I realized it's quite difficult if you don't have like medical degree, etc. Then I realized I actually have medical degree, and I also have PhD, you know. So, and it was in psychosomatic medicine. I do not work as a doctor right now because I'm doing some cool projects, but 4 years ago, we organized the group because people were complaining they have health issues, like over 30 people. It was called True Healing Project. This is how we called it. And we were just doing what Geshe Michael taught us to do, just, you know, putting on the, sorry, translators, oops. So we just kind of made a program to make people think about other people, like to take the disease or something like a tool to help other people. And the program was crazy successful. I mean, we had over 30 people with different health issues and addictions, and guess how many were successful? I mean, all of them, all of them. If they had the, if they really followed instructions. And the most cool case was stage 4 cancer. Many of you know Lena Spellman, and she will do a video with presenting all the things that she had. Like I know her for many years personally, and she is cancer-free now. After she had her liver metastasis and the skin infiltrate, she could not wear her white t-shirts because of the blood that would come out. People who know oncology, they know what it means. I lost my friend with the same exact diagnosis 1 or 2 years before. So, and then we had 2 more persons, stage 4, that are, one is cancer-free, another one from stage 4, she's like stage 2 or something. So the idea is that we want to run a support group for people who have these issues, because I think this is something that is really a sheer suffering. And my husband is here, he can confirm the case, because he really was against me running this group. He said that we cannot guarantee anything, and we cannot. But if there is a chance for even one person, you know, to get healed, then we should use it. We should take it, right? And I was running I was running clinical trials for over 15 years. I know what I'm talking about. You struggle even for one person if you have a chance to for treatment to work. So if you yourself have any oncology issues, or you know somebody who is really serious about working with this, so here is the QR code. We will read attentively. It's a questionnaire, then we will read it and we will send you an invitation. First, we decided to do it just in English. Then we figured that we should do it in Russian and Ukrainian, because I cannot anymore avoid it because I speak other languages. So we decided that that's okay. I will spend my time, and we have volunteers who want to support this project. So you are invited to share this link. Just they will really need to be serious, you know, about if you want to leave, you will do it, you know. So that's what I wanted to say today.
Thank you, Ina, so much. So as far as I understand, this is a group that's gonna aim through different techniques and systems how to support and heal people specifically or especially with cancer issues.
Yes, cancer issues, because we decided that if it will be helping here, you know, like then everybody else will figure that this is helpful, right? So this is the biggest issue, I think, as of today.
Yeah. And it's great to have like a first.
And we have a lot of practical stuff, like practical, like I really have seen many interesting things with working with these people. So I think I can really share this.
Amazing. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time, taking the effort, and for caring. I think it's hopeful. It gives us some guidance if we ever are in a situation where ourselves or family members or anyone, and we need some ideas on how to proceed, how to start our healing process or their healing process. So it's good to know that it exists. Thank you very much. And sending my best and dear regards to all of you, the audience online and the people live in the Rimrock Palace. So hopefully I'll see you soon. I see you very soon. And yeah, excited to be there. See you in Arizona very soon. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Best wishes always.